Well, hey, good morning, Bethel. We're so happy you guys decided to join us today for chapel. If you guys would just stand and worship with us this morning, praise the Creator. Let's give Him some glory this morning. I just wanna move you. What moves you? I just wanna love you. Lord, you're my desire. I just wanna touch you, embrace you. I just wanna know feel what you like. Everything you are is what I want. All I've dreamed, all I need, all I long for, everything. You're everything. I just wanna move you. What moves you? I just wanna love you. Lord, you're my desire. I just wanna touch you, embrace you. I just wanna know you, to feel what you like. 'Cause everything you are is what I want. All I've dreamed, all I need, all I long for, everything. You're all I've dreamed, all I need, all I long for, everything. And I just love you. I just love you. I just love you. I just love you. And I just love you. I just love you. I just oh Lord, I just love you. Exalt you, be enthroned upon the praises of your people this morning, God. We exalt you over everything. We exalt you over everything. Oh, we lay down our distractions and everything. We lay
lay down our distractions at your feet this morning. Everything, 'cause everything you are is what I want. All I've dreamed, all I need, all I long for, everything, all I've dreamed, it's all I need, it's all I long for, everything. You're all that I need. I don't need other people's approval of me or the things that I do. I just need you, I just need you. And what you say about me, it's true. What you say about me, it's true. I just love you, I just love you. I just love you, I just love you. I just love you, I just love you. I just love, sing it out, come on. You, I just love you. He delights in your praise. I just love, it brings him a smile. I just love you. I just love you. I just love you. I just love you more than anything. I just love you. 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 One more time. I just love you. I just love you. Yeah, Lord, I thank you that you're not just like standing up above us, wishing our praise was better, or wishing that we had more of our life together, or we had more things put together, or we had better grades, or we had like better anything, Lord, but you just are accepting of our praise and you actually delight in it. I thank you where it says that you're enthroned upon the praises of your people in the Psalms. Lord, I pray like David that we wouldn't give ourselves rest. We wouldn't let ourselves rest until we make our hearts a dwelling place for you, Lord. Would we never forget what you did? You're so worthy, Jesus. We thank you. It's in your name that I pray. Amen. Thank you guys for worshiping with us.
Thanks so much, you guys. Hey, welcome to Chapel. Thanks for choosing Chapel at this point in the semester. We know you have 1,000,001 things that are vying for your attention. You have tests and papers and time to rest and all of that. But today you chose Chapel, and we're so grateful that you did. So thanks for being here. I'm really excited for this morning. I'm really excited to introduce you to our speaker. Our speaker is Nate Larson. He's a 2003 Bethel grad, and he's going to tell you more of his story. But in addition to having an impressive resume, Nate is just also somebody who deeply loves Jesus. And so I'm really excited for you guys to hear the journey that the Lord has had him on and to hear some of his insights. And welcome to our Board of Trustees members. We're really grateful you guys are here too, and we're grateful that you're here in Chapel with us. And so would you guys all welcome Nate with me?
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. I like to read the opening to Genesis like it's a screenplay. And I think it's just, what a way to start a film. You know, like something feels off. There's water, there's darkness hovering over the water, something is off, and then suddenly God's light enters that place. And that's where God's story with us begins. And we'll come back to some of that later. Hi, I'm Nate. No one told me the president and board members are going to be here. It's intimidating. Also, no one is sitting up close. I don't know what that says. Hi, guys. I was thinking about this last night. The last time I was officially on this stage was 2003. There used to be something called Senior Show, where the senior class would put together a variety show, and I directed it. And that was 2003. And that was 20 years ago. So just so you know, just another more culture, or just a level set here. When I was a freshman at Bethel, tuition was $9,000. Is that close now? Is it similar? President Allen, this is the faithful remnant. Last week of school, all these people that are actually here, would you be willing to commit today to $9,000 tuition for the next year? We have the board. We can do the vote right now. No cap, bet, sus. Okay. So I'm Nate Larson. I'm an Oscar award-wanting filmmaker from Arden Hills. I went to Bethel, studied theology here. After that, obviously, I went into commercial real estate, did that for about 5 years. And then I had a friend that passed away, and I kind of reassessed my life. I'm like, I want to do something I really believe in. And so I said, I want to do some film. I want to do some storytelling. So I just quit my job. I tore my life down to the studs, and I just started doing film. And so for the past 10 years, I've been a filmmaker. I have a company called Parka Studios, and by company, I mean I have one employee. Matt, where are you? Matt? Did he leave? Oh, there he is. Man, there's a lonely up here. So we do like 3 different kinds of work. We do a lot of commercial work. So I have a lot of connections, friends who have an agency in San Francisco. We do a lot of tech stuff. So last year we did a bunch of Facebook work, done Instagram, some of that stuff. Locally, I've done shooting for some of the, Target, United Health, those sorts of things. But we also get to do kind of crazy, fun, zany things. Last week we shot a commercial for Pokemon Go. Didn't know Pokemon Go was still a thing, but get ready. There's a new commercial coming out. And we do a lot of work with TaylorMade. I have a buddy who works there, and we just get to shoot fun stuff sometimes that is really weird. And so I want to show just a clip. This is Bethel Men's Golf. Jack Wellen. Jack, are you here? If not, shame on you. But here's Jack starring in a TaylorMade raincoat social spot that we did last year. Roll it. Look at the glistening water. Look at that smooth putting stroke. TaylorMade. Matt, send a tack to Jack. Shame on you for skipping chapel. We do a lot of nonprofit work too. I like to think we kind of Robin Hood. The commercial work funds our nonprofit stuff. We do a lot of work with Jack's Basket, CSC here locally. We've done some stuff for Bethel, Converge, like the Converge churches. We do a lot of their video stuff, so that's great. But the third thing we do, and the thing that's really been exciting lately, has been the documentary side of things. Documentary is changing a lot lately. It used to be like you lived somewhere for 10 years, and then, eventually you made you shot all this stuff, but now it's becoming really exciting. And some friends and I, we've been doing some exciting stuff, I think. A couple years ago, what we do is we find like a quirky story, and we write it out like a 3-act script, and then we shoot it with a really small crew, with hopefully a small good crew. We do it really cheap, but we shoot it on these really nice cameras, and edit it, and it's turned out well. We did one 5 years ago called The Legend of Cocaine Island. Sorry, Mom and Dad. I wanted to show that clip, but there were too many swears. Again, sorry, Mom and Dad. But we also did another one called The Pez Outlaw, and I just want to show this. It came out on Netflix a couple months ago. It's done pretty well. But this is kind of an example of the kind of stuff we do.
Welcome to the wonderful world of Pez collecting. You're hooked now.
No one knew where he came from.
But everybody wanted what he was selling.
Pez, it's like printing money.
Some Pez are quite rare.
And how much is this worth? Between $3,000 and $4,000.
The most I ever paid for Pez was $11,000.
For when?
When?
Back in the 1990s, Pez USA and Pez International operated very independently.
The president decided what came into the U.S. and what didn't.
The collectors wanted what was available in Europe. And so I was like, Dad, let's see what we can get, right from the factory.
He was just some hillbilly from Michigan who got on a plane and then just landed somewhere.
Oh my God! Are you kidding me? This is the stuff people dream of. Being that close to illegal, maybe illegal.
This guy was bringing thousands and thousands of them over. Scott was furious that this was happening, and the job was to stop this.
I was a threat. And that's when I decided to become the Pez Outlaw. Everybody knew who I was. I saw people follow me all the time.
We always had everything on the line. It's either win or lose, live or die.
Hands up or I shoot you. With a genuine Pez shooter.
And if you ever do watch this, you may see a cameo by one of Hollywood's current leading men. That's me. One of the joys of making a movie is you put yourself in little scenes. It's great. So I love what I do. A lot of different projects in film. I've had some successes. I've had a lot of failures, even recently. Just lost a shoot yesterday, so look at me. What do I got going for me? Not a lot. Anywho, moving on. I know we're in a series about Christians at work, and so what's my approach to as a Christian to filmmaking? Before I dig a little deeper into that, I want to tell a quick story. So a friend of mine named Bjork, he does video podcasting, and he has this setup in his office where he's got a light, we can actually put the office up there. He reached out and said, hey, when I do these video podcasts, I've got this window light coming in from the side, and it looks great, but the other side of my face is really dark. Can you help me to buy a light? What light should I buy to kind of even it out? And so when I'm looking at his office, I'm thinking, oh, I got the idea. Don't worry about the light. So I just walked over, came to his office with one of these, just a piece of foam board. You get this for $6 at Target. And his monitor was there, so I just set this on the shadow side. And so the main light, the key light is coming there, and then it bounced off this, and he took a screenshot of it, and he's like, it's perfect. He didn't have to pay $800 for a color-sensitive light that was doing all these, You could just do that with a piece of foam board. And that's a technique I use all the time, like this idea of just being a reflection, using a reflector to bounce a light. And even like big budget stuff, we're doing a documentary on this cryptocurrency scam that some guys ran. They made $450 million in 30 days with a fake crypto 5 years ago, and they got caught. But one of the main guys, his name's Ray, and we had an interview with him. And it was a big crew. I had a light crew, a truck, a grip, electrician. But I said, you know what? We don't need to use any of that because the light was setting, and we can pull this image up. The light was setting in Miami, over on the left there. And then to the right, there was kind of this dark bridge. So I took basically a bounce like this, and I put it on the backside, and it reflected it. And we could have spent an hour setting it up, but like this is just the natural light with a bounce. I think it looks great. So the foam board story reminds me of one of my favorite passages in the Bible. So remember, Genesis opens up with darkness and light comes in there. And again, like what a great way to start a film. Like all hope is lost, it's dark, and suddenly light springs forth. And the New Testament kind of does the same thing. If you look at John, if you look at the Gospel of John, we read this. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And a little bit later, in him was life, and that life was the light of all mankind. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. Again, get this writer an agent. Like, that's such powerful imagery, using the thought of something dark and hopeless, and suddenly light comes forth. Like, that's so powerful to me as a film guy. But if I were to summarize my whole perspective on what it means to be a Christian in film, I would say it's right here in the next verses. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. He came as a witness to testify concerning that light, so that through him all might believe. He himself was not the light. He came only as a witness to the light, or maybe you could say as a reflection of the light. So here's the deal. In the same way that I use a simple piece of foam board to like reflect the light in the office, just that simple bounce, I view my life and my career in film as I am just trying to reflect the light of Jesus into dark places. Like John, like I'm not the light. It's not like I'm smart or witty enough. It's not like if I craft things a certain way, if I make this Christian movie, if I do this thing, then people will come to know Jesus. I just think like Jesus is that true light. And at my best, when I'm at my best, I'm not trying to like do anything else other than reflect that light and reflect that love to others. I work with some pretty great people. I'm missing a shoot right now in Cleveland. There's a documentary we're doing on these guys who put weights into walleyes to win these fishing competitions. Some of you may have seen it last year. They were at a fishing competition, and suddenly people start yelling because someone had cut open the fish, and these 5 weights tumble out. And these guys were winning these tournaments by like a pound, and usually guys win by an ounce, so they're stupid. But so we're telling that story. And right now the crew is like finishing up a couple shots on that, and I couldn't be there this week. But I got a text from them. I got a text from the director and producer and the people on the set, and they're just saying how much they miss me. And it was maybe, it's being late at night, getting that text, getting ready to talk here. It was just really emotional, and I just realized how much I love these people that I work with. There's like a Jewish intellectual from New York, a gruff Scot, an earnest young girl running from her small town and her small town faith. There's an agnostic father of 3, and I'm just describing these people that I work with on this set. And like, these are people that I am trying to love and reflect the light of Jesus to. And I love them so much. It's almost like I don't care what we're working on. I like to say it's not about the product, it's about the people. And so are we doing like The Chosen, or are we doing an officially Christian film or a Christian series? No, but really for me, it's about the people. And for me, it's about reflecting the light of Jesus to people, regardless of what we're working on. And that's not to say I'll work on anything, but for the most part, I'm concerned about loving people and reflecting Jesus' love to them. So just to get down to some practical stuff, here are 4 examples of how my faith affects my work. And I think this is probably applicable to a lot of you. I know that some of you are going to go into ministry and will probably continue to be surrounded by other believers. I loved Bethel because it felt like home. It felt like a place where I could be open about my faith, and other people generally believe the same things, and there's something wonderful there. But when you get out into the real world, a lot of times you don't have that. You don't have this assumption of faith. You just run into like normal people. And so here are things that I think, these are things, so I'll speak specifically to myself. This is what I do, and if it applies to you, please take that. Okay, first of all, I try to make sure that my own spiritual, physical, and mental health is solid. If you're taking notes, SPAM, spam, more of that humor that you've come to become accustomed with me about. That's so awkward. First of all, I try to make sure my spiritual, my physical, my mental health are good. Like, sometimes we think we can compartmentalize things and like, well, my physical health is terrible, I'm not doing anything about it, but I'm gonna be a really strong emotional person, or I'm gonna be really strong emotionally, but I never eat well or exercise. Like, no, God created us to be like units, like we're all tied together, it all fits together. And so for me, when I'm on the road, I've gotta make sure, when I'm on these shoots, I just have to make sure that I stay in some disciplines. Am I staying in the Word daily? Am I staying connected to my small group? Am I working out and eating well? Am I on Instagram too much? When I get done with a long shoot day, all I want to do is lie in the bed and scroll. And sometimes I do, and sometimes it feels great, but for the most part, that's not good for me long term. And so for me, the first thing, again, what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to make sure that I myself am spiritually, physically, mentally ready to go and be a good person on set. Second, prayer. Oh man, this is a huge one for me. One of the best things that I can do is when I wake up, I pray for the day. When I'm in the van or in an Uber to the shoot or driving there, I just spend time praying. And I ask that God would remind me that each person that I'm coming into contact with is someone that He created, someone that He loves. Some of you know me fairly well, and if any of you have ever worked with me, you know that I get in the zone. Is that right, Matt? Do I get in the zone? It's a strength and a weakness, but when I'm on set, I just get locked in and I'm thinking about these very specific technical things. But I always pray that God would remind me that it's not about the product, it's about the people. It's about who I'm around on these sets and who I'm coming into contact with. And so I need Him. I really need God to pull me out of my zone and just kind of see the people that He's created that I am to reflect His love to. And I pray for my friends on these sets quite a bit. I have people that I've worked with for 10 years, and I've gotten to know them really well. And I pray for them. I pray that God would soften their heart. I pray that God's Spirit would move in their soul and make them question things and make them wonder about Him. It's probably the most important prep work I do when I think about it, this prayer. Third, I always do my best on set. I just work hard. I think God wants us to do our best in whatever field we end up in. And so I'm going to read a verse here, and I'm sure that no Christian college in the history of the universe has done a chapel series on work without reading this verse, but I don't care. I'm going to do it. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord, not for human masters, since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. It is the Lord Christ you are serving. God asks us to work hard because ultimately we're working for Him regardless of what we're doing, ministry, accounting, social work, film, lawn mowing, whatever you do, God calls us to work hard as if we're working for Him. So I go to set and I work as hard as I can. But there's another important benefit to hard work, at least in my industry, probably others, I don't know, you guys can tell me. But hard work changes when I work hard on set, it changes my relationships with everyone that is on set with me. A film set, it's this weird, it's like a team. It's almost like a sports team where you're all working together towards the same thing, on the same stuff. And everyone sees how hard you're working. Everyone notices if you're doing the little things, if you're really finishing the shot well, or if you're helping to move gear, or if you're intense in what you're doing. And for some odd reason, I have noticed this in film, when people see you doing your best and that you really care about your work, they see it as you caring about the production. And as an extension of that, they see it as you caring about them, about the team. I don't know why this is, but the more you work hard on a film set, the more the people around you respect you and open themselves up to you because they're like, oh, this guy loves me. This guy is working hard on this production, and there's something about him that makes me trust him. And I think when other people see me working hard and when they feel like there's a kinship because like I'm working hard for the production and in a sense working hard for them, it leads to maybe the most important way that my faith affects my work. So the fourth way, and this is the good stuff, is I actually try to connect with my coworkers. I try to like actually get into their lives and not just work with them. Shoot days are insane. A lot of times we're working with union crews, and on a union set, most of the days, the producers are trying to get as much work done in as small as time as possible. It's a 12-hour workday usually, which is really long, but there's also, you have to work 6 hours until you hit the first meal break. And so you're working 6 hours, then you have a half-hour break, and then you're back. And there are times where like we will be about to load into a location for an interview, and the producer will call me over and say, hey, the guy doesn't want to do the interview today. He wants to do it tomorrow. And so suddenly everything changes and you're flying because now you're going to the next shoot and you're trying to make things go around. You're trying to like fit these Tetris pieces together because now we've got to do this on another day. And so the days are zany. The days can be nuts. In a lot of ways, it's hard to like know, it's hard to like just stop and see people. But every so often, these unexpected little moments pop up. So we were filming in Cleveland a couple weeks ago, and we were doing some B-roll, shooting a scene with a boat on the lake. And so the camera crew gets to the camera boat, and the captain, so like we're all on the boat, ready to go, ready to shoot. And the captain says, okay, I just got the text from the boat that we're filming. They're 38 miles northeast near the Canadian border. And so the water's a little choppy, so it's going to be about an hour to get there. So all of a sudden, we have an hour. And so we're tooling across the lake. And here's a photo of me and that grumpy Scott. He's actually a very nice guy. But we suddenly have an hour. And some of the people are inside the warmer the area, but we had winter stuff on, so I was out there. And these are the moments when you don't really necessarily know they're going to happen. But suddenly, me and Jonathan had an hour. Just an hour to chat. Again, sometimes it's just a crazy day, crazy busy, and all of a sudden you've got this little window of time. And when I get these moments, I just ask people questions like, hey, how are you really doing? Not like that, hey, how are you doing? But like actually, hey, so how's your life really going? I ask like, so what do you really want to do? I know you're doing sound on this, but what do you really want to do in life? And those kind of questions have led to so many good conversations. And people sometimes are shocked. They're shocked when you care about them. And I think that maybe says something about the way that the world works and the way that most people just go to work and like, I'm just here for a job. So when you really reach out to someone, it touches them. And I think that's like the fragrance of Christ. That's us being the fragrance of Christ to a world that is kind of dark. It can be really a bitter place and a hard place. In film, it's a long game. And in a lot of industries, it's a long game. It's not like I just, I do one shoot with a crew and then I never see them again. Usually when you work with a crew, you get to know each other. Oh, this guy's really good. I want to bring him on to the next project. Or she's awesome at this. Let's bring her to the next thing. So there are relationships that I've had for over 10 years now. And these are people that are people that I've worked on crazy sets and shoots all over the world. And for instance, yesterday, or 2 days ago, I got a call from a friend named Kate. And her husband just moved to London. And she was just calling in to see how I'm doing, to ask how my folks are doing. Like, because we've had so many conversations over the years where we really reach out to each other. And I think that is an example of like when you love and you reach out to the people that you work with, that is, when you reflect the light of Jesus in that way, that is what lays the groundwork for the Holy Spirit to move and to connect you with others. And eventually, have conversations. The Holy Spirit might prompt someone to come to you and ask a certain thing about, man, I'm at the end of my rope, but I know that you're a person I can talk to. And I know you're someone who loves me. So ultimately to me, it's about people. It's about the messy, long, real business of getting to know people and being involved in their lives. At the end of the day, I'm just trying to reflect the light of Jesus to the people that I work with. For God, who said, "Let the light shine out of darkness," made his light shine in our hearts to give us the light of the knowledge of God's glory displayed in the face of Christ. You know, that light that we see, that light that's coming from Jesus. When you guys leave Bethel, next time you go to work, when you enter your career, think about reflecting that light into a dark world. No matter what line of work you end up in, remember, you can always reflect the light and the love of Jesus to a world that really, really needs him. Guys, I love you all. This is wonderful. I am reminded of my time at Bethel. It's so good to see all of you. It's so good to chat with you. Thanks for letting me come in here. Ross, thanks for allowing me to speak, even though I have a mullet. By the way, I know the mullet's dumb. Okay? I know it's not cool. I grew it for the film, and then I kept it, and then I gotta cut it. It's dumb. I know that. What if the last thing of me saying is I know the mullet is dumb? Okay, anyway, thank you guys. Go out there and love people. Go out there and reflect the light of Jesus. That's it.
50,000 stories.
Since 1871, Bethel University has prepared over 50,000 graduates to address the world's challenges, no matter the field. And while each of our stories is unique,
There's a common thread that ties us together as one. It's this story, the Bethel story, that bonds us together, creates space for our growth, and propels our lives and careers forward. At Bethel, we belong and become.
We belong,
Belong
and become.
and become, and become.
at Bethel, we belong and become.
Empowered by a Christ-guided community, creating lifelong friendships with roommates, classmates, teammates, and bandmates. Transformational academics, led by expert faculty who know us by name and see us as whole people.
We help students discover their purpose and pursue their callings to meet the world's needs. Wherever you find a Bethel alumni, you'll find a servant-hearted leader who's helping everyone become more of who God created them to be.
At Bethel, we care about you
And who you are becoming.
We are on this journey together
We hope the Bethel story is a part of your story
of finding a place to belong
and a place to become.
Hello, I'm going to dismiss you in a few minutes here. My name is Mike, by the way, if we haven't had a chance to meet. I work in the Office of Marketing and Communications here at Bethel. I loved what Nate had to say. By the way, put your hands together for Nate. That was great. Thank you so much, Nate. Nate happens to be a longtime friend of mine as well. But I loved what he had to say about being the light of Christ to the world. And he told stories of how he's doing that in his work. But we're all called to do that, right? And we're all part of this thing called Bethel. And that video kind of talks through some work that we've done in the marketing team in the last year. We've really worked hard to try to bring refreshed language and story to what makes Bethel so special. And we, through a lot of work, through a lot of conversations, it really came down to two simple and profound words: belong and become. Bethel is a unique community. I think that we would all agree. A unique community where there's that sense of belonging. You feel like this is home. And it's also a place where there's a dynamic at play, a dynamic of growth spiritually, academically, in our relationships, just as whole people. We become. And Nate's a great example of somebody who has been here and has experienced that belonging and also is doing amazing things in the world and has become this amazing mullet-wearing filmmaker out there in the world. So belong and become. You've probably seen this on light pole banners coming in. You've seen it also on a giant wall in Brush Harbor Commons in the BC. And what we want to do and what I want to invite all of you to do is to put your name on one of these hexagon tiles. We have 2 tables out in the CLC lobby when you exit. Just grab a Sharpie, put your name on here, and we are collecting names of students, of alums, of faculty, staff, donors, board of trustees. We want to create this mosaic in the BC over the next year that when you step back, it says belong and become, and it also says these people, us. This is who makes Bethel such a special place. So please, as you walk out, take 10 seconds, grab a Sharpie, sign your name, put it in a bowl, and we will get those hung up in the next couple of weeks. All right? Thanks so much for your time. You are officially dismissed.